Hi there, and welcome to Blackfire. A question we often have is whether we could collect as much data as possible when something happens to an application in production. And if we think of it, this makes a lot of sense. Blackfire collects different kinds of data, from the continuous collection of lightweight sample of data with Blackfire monitoring and continuous profiling, to the on-demand collection of the most in-depth set of data with the deterministic profiling. Blackfire covers a large spectrum of data collection. Is there a way we could trigger a profile when an alert has been detected in production? Hi, I'm Thomas di Luccio, and today I will be building this integration with you. And we will do even more than this. We will trigger a full set of profile using the synthetic monitoring. So if you are not familiar with synthetic monitoring, it's a component of our performance testing suite where you can bulletproof the performance of the most critical user journeys. You will describe in some files all the steps of all the scenario you want to bulletproof. Meaning, I want to go to this page, I want to click on that link, I want to do this action, I want to submit that form. And I want to repeat this while being logged in, and you can be as creative as you want. With synthetic monitoring, we trigger a profile for every steps of every scenario you defined. And as for every profile, we will evaluate all the assertion you defined. And we will group all this information, meaning the result of all the tests for all the profiles, in a very convenient report we called a build report. Let's build this together. I have this Bigfoot application I'm using almost all the time. If you go to demo.blackfire.io, this is the copy of this very application. What we want is that if something happened to this application, we want to be warned and we want to have a build being triggered to know way more about what could be happening. So this is the dashboard, the Blackfire dashboard for that application. Obviously, there is not much traffic because it's a brand new copy and it's only me working with it. Let's explore what we could do. So we know that we could set up alerts, right? So let's explore what we can do. We know that we can add an alert, add a name, check for some specific metric and some specific condition on the HTTP or CLI traffic. We could do some advanced stuff, meaning that we could be super creative, but that may be not where we want to look at. What we can see there is that there is this, when the state changes to any, so when we want to say when there is an alarm, so we go from normal to alarm state, then we want to notify a specific channel. So at first, there is only one created out of the box that email all environment members once or every X minutes, but we'll do just once. So what we want is we want to add a specific channel for that. We can see that we have many channels, but mostly it will be integration with the tool you are already using. So Bitbucket, GitHub, GitLab, Teams, if you're unlucky, Slack, won't be helpful for us. What we need is, not this one. What we need is a webhook. So we don't quite know what to do there. So there is documentation. Let's read the documentation because it's always useful. And we learned that for the webhook, Blackfire will make a post request on the endpoint you will be providing with this payload. So what we could do at this point is create an application that will receive this post request. And when it will receive this post request on a very secret endpoint, it's a very secret URL, and if it's valid, then it will trigger a Blackfire build. Right. Okay, let's do this. Let's try to do this at least. So, out of personal convenience, I will create a Laravel application. And obviously, you can use any tool you want. So, new trigger build on alert. All right. I want starter kit, I want pest because it's good. Yes, I want git. And let's roll the installation and fast forward this. I want to use Postgres without migration. Security. Let's fast forward again. Right, that's done. So let's go into this application. As for working locally, I have my preference. You can maybe use Herd or Sail or some other tools. I absolutely love DDEV. So I will simply create a DDEV configuration for that application. It will be so great. So to do this, I will run DDEV, and I forgot the name, so I will just do DDEV. After the command, and I will discover, yes, config. Let's do this. Let's run DDEV config. And okay, it's say, yeah, build trigger, it's right, public, yes, auto detection. It's a Laravel application. Right, we're gonna go. Now let's see what we have in this file. And toggle designer, it will be easier to read. All right, I want to use PHP Ava3. I prefer using Postgres, so it would be Postgres, and I think the last one is 16. And as I'm using quite a lot of applications, I need to update the web server. So I need to find this right there, because the standard web ports are simply taken. So I will go, instead of 80, I will go to 89. And instead of 143, I will go to 9. All right, and we should be good to go. And then I go there, restart to recreate the application. And again, let's fast forward this. Okay, so we have this application. Let's give it a try to see if it's working. And no, it does not. Why? Because we haven't run the migration with it. So to do this, let's run DDEV artisan. So within the PHP container, we will run PHP artisan, so the console command under. So here's the list of everything we have, and what we want is migrate fresh. So let's do DDEV artisan fresh. Everything has been migrated, and if it's okay, yes, we have a PHP application running, a Laravel application. All right, so good. Now let's see what we could actually do. We will go in this file, supposing it already opened, in the web file. We will add a specific route. To know how to do it, just check Laravel documentation, so laravel.com, and check documentation, and we will look for routing. So basic routing. What we want is to add another route, so we will do route get, so we'll do exactly the same thing. So I will do route get. Instead of the default one, I will add my very secret points. I'm sure you will come with a super great idea for that on how to secure this. And you should also secure the payload. So you should only enable this endpoint for Blackfire domains and way by Blackfire domains. And then when there was a specific payload, not the topic of today application, you will find it. All right. So we have this. And normally, if I go back there on my application and I need this, my very secret endpoint is a typo. I should see 200. Okay. Oh, good. Very good. So now let's try to see what should be done. So we go back there. We need to find a way to trigger builds. So again, we could either check the documentation, which explains this perfectly, or we simply show you the way. So when you are in your Blackfire dashboard, you have multiple ways of triggering builds. So this automated test where you bulletproof the performance of your most critical endpoints, most critical user journeys. Of course, we could click on this button, but that's not what we want to do. We could enable periodic builds, saying, okay, you will trigger a build every hour, every 3 hours, once a day. What we want is we want to use a webhook, obviously. So we give this trigger a name. So triggered by an alert. All right. We enable this. Sure. And we can see that we have some information there. We can give this build a title. Yes. And an alert has been triggered. Okay. You will find something smart to say there. And we have some settings. So we have a specific token. We have an endpoint, which is the endpoint of the application just there. Okay. We could either use Blackfire CLI for that, but that may not be the most convenient where we are, or do a curl request. So we try to do this. So let me copy this, go back there and see how we can translate this curl command into Laravel specific. Again, we go back to Laravel documentation and we will look for HTTP. It should be HTTP client. Laravel comes with a very convenient HTTP client, which is a wrapper on Gazelle. And it uses what they call facade, or that fancy word for just a nice way of coding stuff. So we use this HTTP facade. And what we can say that only to make a request, we do this HTTP get that for a get request. So let's copy this, right? And now let's try to understand what we are requested to do. We don't want to do a get request. We want to do a post. We want to post something, all right? We want to post this to this URL, all right? So let's do just that. So we want to post this URL. And then we want to do a bit more than that. We see that we want to post a specific payload. So we need to post this payload there with the application data content time. So again, back to the documentation, let's search for JSON. And if we can see there that, yes, request data. So we can post to a specific URL with an object, a body that will contain the data. Right. Let's do just that again. I have this. So I'm posting this and I will turn this into OCD. Right. I want to send this there. Where's total? I'm not asking trigger. You can come with something smarter there if you wish. So then if this endpoint is called, we will send this data on this URL. Good. Is it on this thing? No. We have there that we need some kind of basic authentication. So it's the login password version of basic authentication. So let's search for authentication, and you can see that we can prefix our request with basic authentication. So yes, let's do just that. Let me copy this and replace this with post and basic authentication. We say that we want this, and it's 2 parameters. So first one is username, second one is password, and we should be good to go. Let's give it a try. So if I call this URL or trigger, a build should be triggered. All right, I trigger this URL, I get a 200, and if I there, I can see, yes, a build has been triggered. Good. Is it okay to go on production with this? No, because we have seen that Blackfire, we want a post request on this endpoint. So we need to have the same behavior. So let's turn this route, instead of being enabled for get requests, it will be enabled for post. And if I hit this request with Postman, so let's go to Postman, go there. If I code it, I get an error. What's happening? So 419 page expired. So may look for information on why this is happening. Laravel comes with a very convenient CSRF token validation. And of course, we posted a form without this valid CSRF token. So we need to disable this behavior for this URL only. So let's try to understand how this is happening. So CSRF, I'm pretty sure there is information there. So if I go to this page, presenting CSRF requests, yes, we can see that, excluding URIs from CSRF protection. This is what we want to do. So we go to Bootstrap app file and add this thing there. So let's do just that. We'll go to this file, Bootstrap app, and so it's with middleware, function middleware. So there we should add what's the errors. So we say, okay, we will want to remove specific endpoints, and I will remove all this. It is only my very secret endpoints. And normally, if everything is fine, I can send a request again, and it should be working. And yes, I have 200. Okay, everything is fine. Let's double check on the build. Yes, a new build has been triggered. We are doing just fine. So now we should go live with this. Obviously, we can use this local hosted application, because Blackfire server won't be able to code with this application on our laptop. So let's do this. My go-to solution is to use Upsun. Great path. Obviously, some company has Blackfire, but it's the most straightforward, simple way of hosting things without any burden. So let's do this. And to make sure that we know what we are doing, let's read some more documentation, and this time we will go on Upsun. So let's go docs.upsun.com, get started, framework, Laravel, get started. All right. So they say, okay, you need to create a Laravel application. Okay, we have. And then we need to make a configuration for this application. And there is a very convenient command line for that. So let's run Upsun project init. It makes some detection. So I say, okay, it's Laravel, PHP, using Composer. Great. My application name will be trigger bidon alerts. Perfect. I want to use Postgres. And that's it. Well, let's see if everything is okay. So it means that the .upsun.config YAML file has been created and a .environment file has been created. So let's see if everything is fine. It says I will need to add some extensions, maybe, because I want to use PGSQL. So I will add this to the runtime key. Let's go to our application. Not on DDEV, so there is the Upsun config YAML file. And again, I want to use PHP 8.3. We have seen that on the runtime key, I need to go there. So application, my application, runtime extension, this. So I need to add this. So after this key there, I will add this. I don't want a release. I don't need actually release. So maybe I need to bring that things a bit. For that, it should be good. Okay, everything should be fine. I've already used Postgres. Everything seems to be good. And there is another file that has been created, which is the .environment file. And there we need to add an export app key entry. So let's see this file there. Just want to make sure that everything is okay. Here, PGSQL. We use this scheme because if you go on the config/database file, you can see that the key here is PGSQL. So we need to use the exact same key, which is the reason why this has been renamed URL. And maybe when this video goes on production, everything should have already been fixed. So should be good. They said on this lovely documentation that we need to add the app key. So let's click on this. Selecting the whole line from that. And there we should export another. Please do it this way. Okay, export app underscore key, no money, everything should be fine there. Now, once everything has been set up, we could do, well, should follow the documentation. Yeah, commit your change and push to the project. Okay, so let's git add everything and like git commit, let's say, party started. All right, and a bit of security. Next step is to create an Upsun project. So we set up a config file locally, good, but there is no matching project on Upsun side. So we need to create this space, allocate resources and everything. Okay, so let's do this thing. So Upsun project create. We should have all the information there. So I want to host it on my domain. It would be called, okay, let's call it trigger build on alerts, right? Now we need to choose the region where we want to deploy this. And it's a good call because as you can see, like many regions, we need cloud providers. So maybe the key information is the carbon footprint of that region. I'm based in Europe. The best option is EU5. So let's say EU5. Yes, and I want to be the remote of the repository. Yes. I'm sure I want to continue. All right, so the project has been created. Now we need to push everything we had on our Git stash to this Upsun Git repository. So we'll do that. Upsun push. And yes, we want to deploy. And then we will build for the first time our application. And again, let's fast forward this. So the application has been built. They even generated some environment fruits for us with custom URLs and certificates and everything. So let's see what's happening there. If we hit this route, we see that we have our Laravel application. All right, let's make one more test with Postman saying, okay, we want to hit this very route we created. So let's do this, make a post request on this endpoint. No, please remove this. Because there is nothing. Please Grammarly just go away or leave me alone. No. Yes. Let's do this. So, all right. We get a 200. Good. Do we have another build being generated? And yes, we have a build being triggered. So seems that we are in a very good situation. So let's fetch this endpoint and go forward with the configuration of our alert. So go back to alerting. Let's create an alert. Something wrong is happening. Wrong is happening. Okay, so not a bold stance, right? And I will say, okay, the minimum response time for our transactions is above or equal to 1 millisecond for at least 1 minute. So not taking much risk, but we want to have this alert triggered as easily as possible just to secure that our building is working. And we will add a notification channel. So when we go on alert, on alarm, then we will add a new notification channel. So trigger build. And this is our very secret endpoint that we will use. All right. So let's save this. Okay, should be good. And now I will hit this page. And obviously it should take way more than 1 millisecond to load. So let's hit it a couple of more times and wait a bit, and we should be seeing an alert being triggered. So let's forward for a couple of minutes to see if this alert has been triggered. All right. We just had to wait a couple of minutes for everything to be correctly set up and data flowing within this alert. And yes, something wrong is happening. And we have this alert. So let's see if we were able to trigger that build. And yes, indeed, we have this, an alert has been triggered. We were able to trigger builds when something happened on our production server using Blackfire alerts. All right. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed building this integration with you today. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to leave questions in the comments or find me on Discord. All the links are in the show notes. Tell me if you have any ideas of something we could build in a future video. See you next time.